I walk into the high-end boutique, the polished floors gleaming under soft chandeliers, the air heavy with jasmine and the faint sting of overpriced perfume. Every step feels measured, almost ceremonial, until I see her, Diane, leaning casually against the counter, her lips curling into that smug, knowing smirk. The moment our eyes meet, she leans toward a coworker, her voice just low enough for me to catch the venom beneath her politeness. Maybe try something lighter, she murmurs, the words coated in sweetness but dripping with contempt. I feel it immediately, the heat rising to my cheeks, the sharp sting of humiliation slicing through me. The boutique, once inviting, suddenly feels like a stage, and I am the unwilling performer. Heads turn, some in polite curiosity, others masking the amusement they're too careful to show. Laughter, soft but cutting, ripples around me, and I can feel every eye, every judgmental flicker of attention. My fingers dig into the handle of my bag so tightly that I can feel the pressure in my palm. I want to say something, anything, but my voice catches, choked by shock and disbelief. A friend standing beside me opens her mouth to defend me, but Diane waves her off with that infuriating, patronizing laugh that says I am insignificant, invisible, and beneath her. The cruelty is public, whispered, yet magnified by the quiet complicity of the people around us. I can feel it pressing down, suffocating, 1,000 tiny daggers of judgment and shame. I freeze, caught between the raw sting of humiliation and the simmering fury building inside. My pulse hammers in my ears, a relentless drum of rage and disbelief. I turn, leaving the boutique behind, the polished floors and floral scent fading into the city streets that suddenly feel too tight, too small, too heavy. Walking alone, every step echoes the echo of Diane's words. That night, I lie awake staring at the ceiling, the insult replaying over and over, her smirk, the laughter, the dismissive shrug, my skin, my very presence treated as though it were a flaw. I feel small, I feel burned, and yet, buried deep beneath the sting, a quiet fire ignites. Sharp, steady, undeniable. This humiliation will not break me. It will shape me. It will become the fuel for what comes next. I close my eyes and suddenly I'm back in the narrow hallways of my childhood school, the air thick with whispered taunts. Chocolate face, they called me, their words curling like smoke, invisible yet suffocating. Nicknames that stung, eyes that lingered just long enough to remind me I didn't belong, that my skin was somehow a flaw. I hear my mother's voice then, soft but unwavering, echoing through the years. Your skin is your power, not your shame. I clutch that memory, holding it like armor against the world, a lifeline when every other voice tried to tear me down. High school talent shows flash before me, bright lights, eager applause, but somehow I always feel overshadowed. No matter how hard I practiced, how much I poured myself into every note, every movement, my effort faded into the background. College acceptance letters arrive, but rejection dominates. The whispers about fit and look, a constant undertone to every setback. I remember the modeling gig that broke me quietly inside. The director's words, casual yet crushing. We want lighter faces for this campaign. I wanted to scream, to fight, but all I could do was swallow the bitterness, let it settle deep beneath my skin. Each memory, each slight layers another spark, a quiet fire of resolve simmering beneath the hurt, waiting for a chance to roar. My first real job in marketing becomes another battlefield. Every idea I pitch is second-guessed, every success minimized. I fight to rise above the stereotypes, only to discover the weight of underestimation is heavier than I imagined. Then comes betrayal. A former friend, someone I trusted, spreading rumors that I am too dark for leadership roles. The sting is personal, intimate, a knife where loyalty should have been. Late nights follow, city skyline sprawling beneath me, my tears mixing with the neon glow. the hum of the city a lonely lullaby. I swear to myself in those quiet hours, swearing that one day the narrative will flip, that my skin, my identity, everything they tried to diminish will become the instrument of my triumph. And I vow, quietly, fiercely, in the stillness of my heart, this humiliation will not define me. It will not break me. It will fuel me. Every insult, every whisper, every sneer, they will all be the fuel for what comes next. I dive headfirst into researching the beauty industry, scrolling endlessly through campaigns that idolize fair skin, the same campaigns that silently remind me of every slight I've endured. The glossy images, the perfect lighting, the endless praise for lighter beauty only stokes the fire inside me. Billboards flash past on crowded streets, social media feeds fill with interviews praising skin tones that look nothing like mine. Each image, each comment, each article is a challenge, a call to action I cannot ignore. I join online forums filled with women who have faced the same subtle cruelties, collecting stories, absorbing their pain and resilience. Their words become fuel, their experiences a mirror reflecting my own silent rage. I begin to network, moving quietly but deliberately through events where Diane and her circle appear, feeling their gazes before I even meet them. Diane has been promoted at her boutique, and her sneers, her little public belittlements continue. But now I watch with a calm calculation, cataloging every weakness, every predictable pattern. At a city gala, our paths cross again. She makes a veiled insult, a casual remark meant to diminish me, but I meet her gaze, smile politely, and keep my composure. Inside, the fire roars. I will not let her see the storm she's reignited. I throw myself into building my personal brand, a careful craft of empowerment and representation. Late nights stretch into early mornings, sketching ideas, contacting photographers, designing a portfolio that screams authenticity, defiance, and unshakable pride. And then it happens. I stumble upon a national campaign calling for diversity in beauty. The opportunity crystallizes before me, sharp and undeniable. I can feel the tension rising, a quiet electricity as whispers of someone new, challenging the norms, begin to reach Diane. Let's say, the city becomes my chessboard. Every event I attend, every contact I make, every connection I forge is a calculated move. The game is no longer about survival, it is about strategy, about turning every slight, every insult, every dismissal into leverage. I feel the weight of it, the thrill of it, and I know the board is set, the pieces are moving, and soon Diane will see the force she never saw coming. The phone rings late one evening, sharp and unexpected. Jordan's voice comes through, steady and commanding. We want someone real, someone who stands for truth. My heart skips, a jolt of electricity running through every nerve. Jordan lays out the vision for the campaign, celebrating all shades, challenging the mainstream narrative, refusing to bow to outdated standards of beauty. I feel a surge of possibility, a doorway opening where once there was only shadow. This is it. This is the chance to transform every humiliation, every whispered insult into a platform that cannot be ignored. A private meeting with Diane's rivals follows, a room thick with anticipation and unspoken alliances. I see it then, the way she has completely underestimated me. Her name is spoken in tones of casual superiority, but they do not see the fire building beneath my calm exterior. I start visualizing the campaign shoot in my mind, lighting, poses, the camera capturing not just my face, but my story, my resilience. Confidence blooms where insecurity once lived, filling every corner of my being with a quiet, unshakable power. The turning point arrives when I consciously release fear, exhaling it like smoke, and choose courage over shame. Mentorship from Jordan becomes my guide through the subtle politics of the industry, teaching me how influence can be wielded like a scalpel, precise and transformative. Through the grapevine, Diane begins to hear whispers. The campaign seeks unconventional beauty, darker skin tones included. I feel a silent thrill, the game is shifting, and the pieces are moving in my favor. I secure a preliminary contract, my first major victory, carefully hidden from the public eye. The exhilaration is almost physical as I pack my portfolio, plan wardrobe combinations, rehearse poses in front of mirrors that reflect not just my image, but my reclamation of power. Each action becomes deliberate, each moment a step toward taking what was denied to me. I am no longer the girl overlooked in hallways or whispered about behind closed doors. I am the storm rising quietly, and the world is about to notice. Campaign launch day arrives with the kind of tension that makes the city pulse in rhythm with my heartbeat. Across towering billboards, my face stares back, larger than life, unflinching, undeniable. The air hums with anticipation as cars slow and pedestrians stop, eyes caught by the image I've become. Diane walks past one of the billboards, her stride faltering as she freezes. I see it in her expression, a cocktail of disbelief, anger, and silent fury, all muted behind a mask of composure she cannot fully maintain. I savor the moment, the weight of every past insult finally tipping in my favor. Media coverage explodes. Interviews dissect my journey, highlighting my resilience, my refusal to be invisible, my rise from whispered humiliation to public recognition. I speak at a TED-style stage on inclusivity, my words carried across digital platforms, echoing in living rooms, offices, and dorms across the country. Former colleagues, once laughing in shadows, now tag me in posts, their praise tinged with the surprise of having underestimated me. Diane attempts to make a statement to the press, her words defensive, petty, faltering under the scrutiny she once wielded effortlessly. Social media ignites. Hashtags trend, comments pour in, and my story goes viral. A rival boutique owner reaches out, offering collaboration, publicly citing Diane's narrow-mindedness and praising the courage that built my platform. Messages flood in from young women, many of whom never saw themselves reflected in media or advertising, thanking me for showing that their struggles, their beauty, their voices matter. The final confrontation comes at a gala. Diane approaches, her eyes sharp, her posture rigid, but I meet her with a polite smile, a nod of acknowledgement. I walk past her steady and unshaken, letting the silence, the billboards, the social media frenzy, and the collective recognition speak louder than any argument could. My victory is quiet, undeniable, and complete. I sit in my apartment, the city lights glinting off the skyline, each flicker a reminder of how far I've come. The journey that once felt impossible now stretches behind me like a roadmap of resilience, pain, and triumph. The campaign has solidified my reputation. Endorsements arrive, speaking engagements follow, and my name carries weight where once it barely registered. Diane's boutique, meanwhile, suffers a quiet but steady PR backlash. Clients who once lined up for her narrow vision now turn toward brands that celebrate diversity, leaving her influence diminished. I spend my days mentoring young women of color, guiding them so they never feel invisible, never have to endure the isolation I once did. In quiet moments, I read heartfelt messages, watch transformations inspired by my story, and feel the ripple of impact spreading beyond my own life. I invest in a nonprofit dedicated to promoting representation in media and fashion, ensuring that the next generation has opportunities I had to fight for. Financial stability has finally arrived. The anxiety of being underestimated no longer haunts me. The anger that once burned so violently has transformed into a calm, guiding strength. I revisit the boutique where it all began, stepping inside with no bitterness, only reflection, tracing the echoes of past humiliation and the triumph that followed. And in that moment, I understand the truth. The revenge was never about punishment. It was about self-affirmation, reclaiming my worth, my voice, my power. It was about proving to myself, to the world, that I am unshakable. I face the camera in a sunlit studio, the city skyline blurred behind me, soft light spilling across my face. My voice is calm, yet charged with the weight of every experience that led me here. I've been underestimated, I've been laughed at, I've been told my very skin made me less than, but every insult, every whisper of doubt, it became my fuel. Flashbacks flash across the screen. Diane's early smirks, the whispered laughter in boutiques, juxtaposed with massive campaign billboards and young fans smiling, inspired, and empowered by my story. Being underestimated is never weakness, I continue. It can become your most powerful weapon if you learn to wield it with patience, strategy, and authenticity. I share the lessons carved into my journey, the relentless persistence through every rejection, the courage to embrace my identity fully, and the unwavering commitment to authenticity. I highlight the transformation from shame to influence, from private pain to public inspiration. If someone has ever made you feel less, I say, looking directly into the camera, turn it into your fire. Your story matters, your voice matters, and your presence is your power. The closing shot follows me, walking past a reflective glass wall, my image glowing back at me as I smile, confident, unshakable, triumphant. Resilience, I narrate, is silent at first, but when it finally speaks, the world listens. The camera fades out on the bustling city below, the hum of life moving around me, my journey now a beacon for others, proof that pain can be transformed into power and humiliation into unstoppable strength.